Crashing from a 15-hour daydream, I stopped to think, then stopped. Why bother? This is what the viewing audience wants. It wants the base posture, cockfights, and really overweight kids who eat their way into our torpid design. Who eat their way into our torpid design. Want pussy in all its form and value. It hopes the king shits on their plate. Marching in mobs past our window, carrying flags we let no stitch. Carrying flags we let no stitch. Carrying flags we let no stitch. Crashing from a 15-hour daydream, I stopped to think, then stopped. Why bother? This is what the viewing audience wants. Viewing audience wants. Viewing audience wants. We orbit, gavotte, sling shit willy-nilly, wage war, disturb. The moon resumes its climb into cloud, bears cold light upon the roaches after the credits fade. The minor emergency of days dissolves into dark sky. Dark sky! So acute, so foreboding. The closing circle closes in its purged job description. Like an anxious dancer approaches the bar. If I gave a damn, I'd finish the poem you commissioned, but I haven't the energy to concoct so goddamn elaborate a lie about you, blue dice and squirrel, barrel-assing down a swollen Mississippi to save Blind Boy Jim's 27 National from foreclosure and your morally preposterous escape route. How unsettling to know I beg your fiction. Explain myself with your errant words. Live long enough and the plot becomes apparent. This is the only way it could turn out. The fire-roasted eggplant flatbread is running late. The edible hasn't kicked in time for the movie. The wine lacks a certain weight and the folks at the next table are ready to string strangle each other. Live long enough and life costs you an axle. Love hits the wall more often than not, and the rubbernegging results in a muscle sprain and hyphenated discs. The downloaded arc of history crashes on your lawn. Corporate names become your own. Surly asides become convention. Live long enough and people implore you to pray for them. Pray they be rid their cancer and conceit. And you do, because maybe they know something that you don't. That's short of the nuclear option. What else is there? Strafe downtown Rosendale, torch town hall, increase the Valium and the Xanax. Live long enough and the choice becomes abuse or entertainment. Your dynamic points of interest dull. The sand becomes listless. Tariff and sanction scintillate. You come to terms. Live long enough and you tire of doing this, that, every fucking little thing, but maybe that's how this shitstorm passes and surface to someone in need, to someone mistaken as foreign, to someone you once saw as a stranger, a careening impenitent, inclined to believe. I never did get back to Topeka. What was the point? There were pipe bombs in every direction. Just like here. Up and down, forward and back, horizon to horizon, moon to moon, and grandma's down 8 fingers and falling into her chili and chips as Pop swears a quick drawer and little Lena gets off the bus and walks into the dim-lit, gimlet, gin house that only the brave defy. Which is why I'm here, hiding behind happy hour. My religion lost and my faith failing fast. Each dark minute hauling itself forward, towards the water, towards the morsel, towards the dead legends I call my own and number myself among. We jump off in droves, the chasm yawning, the darkness rushing by. Just grow soldiers, they say. Reminding me a lot of what I heard back there in the future. Where prairie winds blow rust and the water mains burst just like that. And just like that, everything else neglected by its people. Dismissed as a political problem when, in fact, it's a cultural one. A question of folklore and the lack thereof. Not present, no past, no holds barred when it comes to demise and the dollars it makes, the squalor, the contempt, the breed I've indebted myself to, a ruined lineage, just like Topeka. just like Topeka. Just like Topeka. It's like we all couldn't wait to get back in our cars and make wide left turns. Roll through the stop signs, drift through the yellow, brake, speed, stop, signal, then turn the opposite way. It's like we all never left the driver's seat. Took our meals in the garage lit by a 60 watt. School bus, school bus, all those old mayhems anew. It's like right lanes closing in a quarter mile, and don't tail construction vehicles, okay? They've got enough shit going on at home and don't need your bullock riding up their ass. It's like all the flagmen came out of hiding. Guys in trees and guys on poles and old lady Swenson crossing Cedar to get her mail. It's like everyone now has a license and a fix to fill, and it's only noon. So imagine this mob at rush hour closing in for the kill. What the lady said about Billy the Kid was true. He hid under petticoats often after coaxing the Red Dog's son from their loins. He'd rest in the Sierra Blanca, reading dime store novels with a grin that frayed at the edges. His dusty boots, his crooked hats, cast shadows on the noose. Until one day, when some great love, or its proximity, divided his bones for sport. The reason you dreamt of wise men playing pinochle on stilts is because it was my dream. Absconded from my head by Baku, the dream thief, who goes about the world taking whatever's not nailed down. Yours, mine, your mama's, your great aunt's green teeth, your father's blue suit. You could say you had the craziest dream, but you didn't. You had mine, while I, in Weehawken, had yours. And I caught myself, got up to feed the cats. And you can ask for your dreams back, but it's like immigrant children crying in the night. It's like immigrant children crying in the night. It's like immigrant children crying in the night. And tonight is no exception. Christmas lights kindle the morning civics at Molly's, as Jack swears Jimmy was the best barkeep ever. The best barkeep ever. And you nod because you know, you're new in town and you don't know the whole barrow truth. But you swear. You swear on your mother's grave. You swear on your father's grave that you know these guys from a room above a deli on the corner in a dream. Above a room in a dream. Above deli on the corner in a dream. And you really need some downtime. But the devil and his deep state has better plans for you, boyo. In a room above a deli on the corner in a dream. In a room above a deli on the corner in a dream. Swimming with Picasso was all fun and games until we both conceded we couldn't swim and everything reassembled. Arms, legs, nipples akimbo, elbows, eyebrows, monkfish cheeks, treble sevens, dancing deer, the bent dick of a zebra. Maya, Marie, Olga, Dora, all of them reclining before him. Jutting nose, rolling eyes, ballerina mistress, the punishment of art. Shipwrecked cur that he was, he set the beach afire. Sirens scream, Otto is dead. In the rampaging light, I unmoor his shoddy boat into the cursed tide, leaving him his brushes and the wreckage of the sea. Frog-Eye Fitzgerald fought the foos. Those high-flying flashpoints no one could catch. In the war we won, he'd boast, after 3 bourbons and a double rye at the fuselage on 4th and Dyer. The last great dive that isn't, he'd say, like so much of this country, he'd add, as they invade. Last call! And the dread, like the skies over Okinawa, April Fool 45, set in. Dodging foos was a breeze for Fitzgerald's bulging baby blues. This way, that way, over, up, upside down. The best of the tactical tent chased the sky, aflame with battle, black as the sea. Them quick as shit little motherfuckers, duking and deaking so damn fast you swear you never took a breath. Eyes bigger than mine, he'd assert. I know, they conveyed. I've seen them little motherfuckers too, and I wouldn't sleep with any of them. Like so much of this goddamn country, she said, closing down the night. If you recall, before the torpor, so much more than now is possible. Small-minded men didn't govern in service to antiquity. The master, more profane than his mobs in Gear City and his tin-cut messiahs with masquerade hair, didn't own the air rights to your last breath. If you stop to recall, because that's when you do when all the days are lost, there was a certain flair to all this, a starlight vast and mannered that kept our souls enthralled. If you stop to recall, as Judas reneges, it was never just another day outside the command chain. It didn't all start to blur. There were Bibles and there were lanterns filled with light. Right before they shipped me off to ports I inhabit still, Mary, from our sophomore year, who died this year from cancer, of course, told me, as if divining autumn's blue rain, drop by sad wet drop, the sinner resides in the holy. She always said so much with so little, artist that she was. And then I was swept into battle both here and abroad. I carried her words with me, beyond the yearbook, the goodbyes and so longs of well-meaning friends, those who wished me gone, and my family too. Then came the massacre at Way, and well, here I am now. 2 doubles down, awash in my clouds of logic, wondering why some make it and some don't, how many bodies make up that bridge, how many Marys have to die to satisfy our penchant for regret, as autumn's blue rain chills graves, ancient, barren, freshly dug. The psychic took my personal check and I quickly questioned all of her projections. Surely she was aware of my grifter past before predicting that I would have 10 weeks on the Times top 10. That I would be Amazon's big pig. Have you read my stuff? It's fucking depressing, I said. Which was a curt evaluation. I'll concede, but I don't see stars anymore. Just bullet holes where the light sneaks in. We need your truth, she said, and I thought, wow. I thought, wow. What a promo blurb that would make. Let Kirkus charge me now. This country ain't piss, she said, lending credence to my last submissions, a heft to my old hauvoir. Can I quote you, I asked with a grimace, my standard scowl of the day? $26.99, she said, without fanfare or delight. In the shanty hut of memory, I put down my things, prepare tea, a bowl of grain, arrange my space into the same order, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, den, a small room for secrets, my desk skewing east, my bed aligned, my shoes missing, forks misplaced. I shit, shower, shave, and shove off for Pittsburgh, where everything beeps at me derisively. Gas pump, smartphone, toothbrush, vape pen. The microwave kills the salmon. If I had any balls at all, like Uncle Hank opposed the wheel, I'd smash them with a goddamn rock. But I wean on leisure and regret my vote, like all good citizens do. Guns and bombs, cannons and spears, daggers, pistols, swords and rifles, muskets, bayonets, pocket knives, box cutters, scissors, buzz bomb sticks, hydrogen, halogen, fire and ice, asymmetrical, hypersonic, flamethrowers, stones and tanks, Gatlin's patent 36836, chlorine, napalm, mustard, tear gas, catapult, submarine, missiles, drones, atomic, scatter, blast, the Betty, the Huey, the M16, the Fokkers, the Sopwiths, the Chariots and Jeeps, meat hook and bat, the bow and arrow, Maxon's design and Lou's 303 caliber, the mortars, the rapiers, the sabers and short sword, poleaxe and mace, the rake, the plane, the battle axe and flail, pike and lance, scythe and chakram, the dogs of war, the camels, the elephant and galleon, the gauntlet, the castle, the whips and chains, blowguns, tachi and deerhorn, push dagger, swish dagger, Lockheed and Glock, Boeing, Grumman, BAE, Rockwell, Honeywell, Saab, GE, Raytheon, Rolls-Royce, General Atomic, United Engines, Springfield, Airbus, Gallanberg, Gruffin, Inet Learns and the Winchester, Zero Sum, Flintlock, the Claw of Archimedes, Remington, Colt, Zarbomb, the Judas Cradle beats them all. All right, so what we're doing here is we're celebrating the book launch of my books that aren't here. The book is called Mooncussers. This is Mike Worsa on drums, Pat Irish on bass. What's your name again? Nick Bisanz on guitar. Nick was with me on American Mental. I'm gonna do a couple on my own, and then these guys will come slamming back in again at some point. Eleanor's purse held many things. Everyone's prone to the shivers and yips, she says, curating her bag with a passion few possess. This here is for bloating, she'd puff, holding a change of face and coin, 1 small vial, 2 orange pills, 3 sets of 60, 4 counts of felony, 5 minor headaches, 6 Christmas trees, 7 separate somethings, 8 triple ply, 9 bold remarks, 10 turtle doves, 11 sordid mints, 12 novellas, and you lose at least 90 minutes of your life stuck in traffic each day, she'd insist. No stranger to the truth, but not quite its kin. God wields without partiality, she'd note, handing you a hammer. I know by the dumpsters this little town juggles boxed wine and takeout from Imperial Geisha 2 miles north on 29, where another black kid's gone down. Sugar and shit fall from the sky, and here I am, 4 fingers in hand, 2 sheets to the wind, not dire nor enlightened, prophet nor fool, just some hoary shaman who, once confronted and on a roll, has more than a few words to say and says them something like this. Little rockabilly?
Rockabilly?
Little rockabilly.
Oh, he wants rockabilly. Hold on, boys, please.
Little rockabilly. This is a story about Buddha's wife. And it's called Hellfire and Fever. Unlike stories of her acquiescence, Buddha's wife was all hot and bothered and looking to party. I know, I was there. She stood her ground and made her reign with a ferocity seen by few and survived by even less. Day in and day out, that girl made wreck the priories, brought hellfire and fever down on government men. Eyes straight, head high, tits up, her bangles all a jangle, her roguery a legend around here. Yazzo, as we called her, made her own revenge, taught her gentle charge that all men are fickle, most women too, and that no man is better than the other. We all see the dark of day, she said, so make yourself a light. If they ask, my dear, tell them I died behind the wheel, waiting for the light to turn, waiting for the asshole ahead of me to discover his left foot from his right. Tell them, my love, I died simpering while the road crew widened thoroughfares and smoothed the finish over my blackened heart. Tell them, my love, should any be so inclined to query of my well-being, that I'm buried with the odometer, the universal gear. Tell them I withered in the heat, the stewing froth of motion and mediocrity, prey to the rush and the clatter, the zoom, the zoom, the zoom, zoom, zoom of death. Tell them, my love, I died in love. With you, with them, despite the miles between us, wishing I was home. The night unfolds like Simone rising from Sartre's lap, and we're left all alone watching from our hovel east of theirs. It was so rare to see them cohabitating intimate corners like this. He holding her book, she holding his. We giggled at their dalliance, their feral talks around Montparnasse and the dark carafes of wine, reviewing detours before and after, and how the crossroad crisis cost us all in the end. The girl, the train, the day, the ellipsis and apothecary, the moment and its time. Just like that, Nazis rally, soldiers invade. Nazis rally, soldiers invade, havoc ensures, innocents die. Did you hear that? Innocents die. Even those on the periphery doing radio for the Vichy or arguing symmetrically for the Gulag and free will. We overheard them over our Macrons and Sauvignons. For a day in Paris is always a day in Paris. It just depends what side you're on and how history's cold deceits blow far beyond the Seine. The girl and her parachute. The girl and her parachute were a cute enigma from the moment she got in my car 6 miles awry of her landing. "Thanks for the ride," she said, her parachute strangely mute. So unlike my mother-in-law going rogue in Vegas. But this isn't about my mother-in-law, past or present. This is about the girl and her parachute, who could have landed on my car if the westerlies were blowing true. "You go for the buzz because all the rest is bullshit," she said. And in the sky above Lake Owasting, 2 clouds were eloping. Here in the heart of Maricopa County, the girl who helped thunder had nothing really to do with the rain. She was just a girl, pronoun, verb, standing in the shadow of the cross, who lit a blue candle amid the high mountains, who knew love's rhombus, proved proverb and vowel, a girl of moon of infinite clouds, who had nothing at all to do with the rain. And I'd like to do one more. And this is called Hat Check Girl. You always tip the hat check girl whose reliable witness you'll need sooner than you know, whose bright, wide eyes, yon cistern of dreams, upholds your dignity in spite of your totem, your tarry, your existential quiddities and false drawings. All the camo the day demands, expects, coals cold, leaves without kiss or condemnation, only your vain schematics at play. You always tip the hat check girl as a matter of course, as a nod to her beauty and its mastery of the moment, its discretion, its fury, and the obvious ways it jolts you, lures you, and leaves you broken. Through our debris our children walk, barefoot and barrios burdened at birth. Cry the cold china, billboards in Harlem, East 138, I still call you home. Turn back the promise, the premise, the menace, East 138, I still call you home. Abandoned like babies, burnt and begotten, over a river of peril, standing alone. At the crossroads, a beggar of Jade and Jehovah, hustling for handouts from shadows long stilled. Spit out the devil, the demon, the donor, the monster, the baby, the shrill of the dead. Run the cold plasma over hordes of the faithful. East 138, I still call you home. Beautiful, man. This is kind of based on a true story. I grew up in the South Bronx, and there was a legend on every corner. And this is called the Ballad of Black Bean Johnson. On the corner of Willis and 149, from a Barca lounge outside Johnny's, Black Bean Johnson held court. You take your best shit on the day you die, he tells us neophyte urchins. He spoke like God, if they spoke the same language. His old man breath, his old man eyes, his dirty V-neck, torn from the hunt. We are the sum of all our secrets, he howls at the women walking home from Hearns. And we paid attention. We paid rapt attention. We had to. They didn't teach us this shit in school. No matter how fancy the parochial setting or broken the brick and mortar. Captain of his corner, we wondered how someone so wise could live so spare, so bare, so undisputed. A coup is afoot, he warned the rain. Old Tango was an atheist after the war. What choice did he have? Electroshock? The brown crystal from China? A calming agent every 4 hours didn't cease the darkness. Didn't make his hairpin hold any less shakier than the hour before. The flashlight crapped out and the jungle cranked to 10. Counting corpses rides high the minutes. The Wabash shakes he inherited from his father didn't make his rest much easier or peaceful. In fact, it agitated the hour. It agitated the hour. The hour before every 4 hours. I always thought that Billy Collins looked like a turtle. He just had that head like a turtle. That's not to say that I don't have a head like a turtle. But, I don't know. So I did some studying, and it turns out that he was actually given an Eastern painted turtle by a poet in Susquehanna, Pennsylvania. So I was wondering how Billy and this turtle would get along. And this is how it happened. And this is called Eastern Painted. The poet's turtle, and Eastern Painted, paddles like prose. The bard tidies his bonsai, pulls a thread from his blue cable knit, and leans in. Sometimes it's more than a floater, he whittles as slow boy. Awash in fish flakes as the poet in wine withdraws his head and considers that he and the guy biding time by pen both bear the grimace of studied intent. She packs umbrellas in her shoes when she flies, he scribes. But it's tentative. It's not the place to hang his hat. It's not the place to set down his wine. This one's gonna be a slog, thinks Slowboy through a rabble of bubbles. Snapping at a passing meal, like the guy in the sweater bites on verbs. The poet doodles. His double paddles northward to see the sky through unkept glass. In a bit of a brood, the poet too, drawn to the same wild wonder. Straight up, baby, straight up, like the blues and the ramparts. Blakey, Birdland, Brubeck's Bar, straight up, baby, straight up in the 7 to Fulton under cloud shade and shale which will tell its own. Straight up, baby, straight up, and he's on the phone fighting about her period. Who fucked who, and the whole bar knows it. Par for a city under surveillance, I guess. And I really do, I fondly recall when my parents would pull me aside and pull me in close to them if someone came down the street or rode the same number 6, yelling at all these invisible voices, talking to themselves in a tone that, to be perfectly honest, stifles the bare rail cry. The infallible hum you hear on each corner that returns my thoughts to heaven. And if it rains there, is it cold? Is parking a problem up there too? And this one's called Cheering the Ponies with God. With my face against the cloud and my ass against the burner, with my face against the cloud, my ass against the burner, I'm cheering the ponies with God. Hold my calls, I said. God collects in the third. Always stick with the filly, he says, and of course he's right. What other choice is there for a guy still carrying his chapbooks with him, hoping for a sale? But I know better, and I let him talk. I love this ramshackle little upstate town, he says, with a genuine smile on his face, a small rain without end in his eyes. But you guys are driving me crazy, he tells the beer man. And you, he says, you're no better. Bogarting the chips and salsa. But I hadn't noticed. So I moved on to the next topic. What about Monet's Light, I asked, hoping he'd pick me a winner before the last race. It colors heaven, he says, like some stock answer he pulled from his hat. But he didn't have a hat, just a carefree cloud that I guess he plucked from Saturn's tears. Sounds pretty, I say, trying not to sound too eager or envious, trying to hold the divine lighter than I had just a few minutes before when I didn't redress or rejoin. It is, he says, and Garcia stitches sunlight solos while Ella sings the blues. We're in the backstretch, God and I, coming to the understanding that we both tried our best. Hey, you know, you were human once, I tell him in self-defense. I know, he says, slipping me the winning ticket. Before I finish with this last one, I would like to thank Nick, Pat, Mike, Dave for doing this tonight. Thank you very much. Everybody out there watching, I hope you stayed in even despite the power failure. They did. Cool. Thank you. So I'm going to end the whole evening. If you guys want to make a little noise on the end of this. No, not a lot. Not this one. This work with a lot of noise.
Already played with 4 sticks?
This one's called Gracie. There's a grammatical error up ahead that will change everything. How and why, I don't know, because off the top of my head, each mad essay must cast doubt on the one before, or at least lend a hand to its aberrant cause, which makes for unsure seasons, rising seas, and a lack of wonder. And I know you all have better places to be, like Dunkin' Donuts or debtor's jail. So I'll try to get to what I'm getting at before I get to where I'm going, which was talk about Gracie Allen, who knew that today's postage stamp was yesterday's head of state, that a country of checks and balances relies on checks, and that you never place a comma where God has put a period. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the mooncussers. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, Michael.
Woohoo!
Thank you.